Jai Guruji, Namaste to everybody. In the spirit of keeping the momentum going, I will read a few more chapters which can be shared during the course of the week. So, in continuation with the coffee table book, the next satsang is from the Jetra family, Chavi and Sumit Jetra. And the satsang is called Retrieved from the Clutches of Cancer. We were first blessed with the darshan of Guru Maharaj in March 98. I was 24 years old and had been operated upon for neuroblastoma, a malignant tumor. My life was devastated. A colleague of my mother, both doctors by profession, had told us about the miraculous powers of Guruji. But a newcomer like me was naturally skeptical. As directed, we told Guruji about my condition. Guruji's response was, Kalyan Kitta, I have blessed you. Little did we realize the impact of these words. When Guruji says something, it is eternal truth. It took us a long time to realize that I had been eternally blessed. I was getting the blessed langar and prasad, which was Guruji's medicine for treating me. And the result was for all to see. Unbelievably, I was on the road to recovery. A couple of months later, the divine healing was confirmed. I had gone for a CT scan 6 months after the operation to check the status of the disease. The scan showed that the 3 suspicious patches on the liver, kidney, and stomach observed in the post-operative scan earlier had now disappeared. A miracle with a capital M had just occurred. My body had been retrieved from the clutches of cancer. Yes, Sangat ji, Guruji ki duniya mein kuch bhi sambhav hai. In due course, with Guruji's blessings, I recovered completely. Today, it has been nearly a decade since cancer afflicted me. I have not only shaken off the disease, I retain Guruji's blessings of good health. The only medicines that I have been taking are the langar and chai prasad. The doctors who had been dismissively skeptical of my recovery now tell me to forget that I ever had cancer. They don't need to tell me. I know I have gotten a new life with the grace of Guruji's blessings. And a personal satsang, I'll share my dad's satsang. So one day, Papa was on a morning walk and he was hit by a mad bull on the road. He was attacked. And the bull came, charging at Dad and put its horns into his chest, and my dad, fell to the ground, blood gushing out. And my mom, who was accompanying him on the morning walk, thought that this is the end of Dad. He was rushed to the hospital, and with Guruji's grace, he came out hale and hearty. And as soon as he was discharged, obviously the first thing was to go offer thanks to Guruji. And when Papa walked into Empire State, Guruji right away said, General Kapur, new life. So his words are such a blessing. The next satsang, after these beautiful pictures that is in this coffee table book, is called Guruji, the Akal Purak. They all know me as Sukhmani Aunty. But there was a time when I was really dukhi, deeply sad. I was childless, and this is not the Sukhmani Bhore, Sukhmani Auntie's mother, Sukhmani Aunty. This is a different Sukhmani Aunty who's based out of Ireland, I believe. Yes, so the satsang confirms that. I was childish, and my Irish husband was jobless in England. I had only one door where I could knock and seek blessings, the Akal Purakh at Harmandir Sahib. I submitted myself there and prayed. Bless me with an offspring, as you are the only one I can relate to, I prayed. I was blessed with a daughter, but this was a sickly child. I was unhappy again. I decided to come back at the doorsteps of Akal Purakh. But there was a problem. I was cash trapped and unable to pay for the excess baggage, including medicines needed for my sick child. I was desperate. Then a good soul at the airport allowed me to board the flight without paying excess baggage charges. I prayed at the Akal Purakh in Harmandir Sahib. You have blessed me with a child, but she is sickly. What kind of a gift is this? I came back from Amritsar and got a call from Guruji, but I only believed in Akal Purakh. I hesitantly came to Guruji's presence for my first darshan. So, you are Sukhmani Aunty, your child is sick, and your husband doesn't have a job. You also had a problem at the airport about excess baggage. Never mind all that, just take the prasad and all will be well, said Guruji. I wondered, how did he know all this and how was he responding when I was only praying to the Akal Purakh? But then people like me were looking for a miracle to survive, and it was happening. Guruji had rescued me from the airport and also assured that my child would get well. Now it was my husband's turn. He got an interview call and also the job, but when he came home, he had to tell Sukhi, while I was going for the interview, I saw a benign saffron-robed person waving and smiling. I was amazed and did a recheck at the same spot. He was there again. I took him to Guruji's photo that was with me. He identified that Guruji had blessed him on his way. So Guruji was at the airport. He was also there with my husband. My miracles had happened. The surprising part was that I was praying at Akal Purakh and Guru Maharaj was answering my prayers. Since then, I am all for Guruji. Guruji हंसते हुए कहा करते थे कि अरदास जिस भी डिपार्टमेंट में लगा लो, सैंक्शन होने के लिए मेरे पास ही आनी है. The next satsang is called The Ultimate Gift. And it is actually not some individual satsang. It is just general, I think, guidance here, which we can all use. All through, Guruji gave us only two core messages. Make a connect and seek the blessings of the Supreme Power. Direct connection jodo, nazare dekho. These twin messages encapsulated his wisdom and concern for our spiritual as well as physical well-being. Let us walk the path together that shall take us into the light. You can do it very simply. Just submit to the Supreme Power with all sincerity. Then the journey on this path will take care of our mundane problems and spiritual well-beings. Love you, Guruji. You need to first make a connect. If you have accepted me as your Guru, you don't ask for anything. Yes, अगर गुरु को मान लिया तो कुछ मांगने की जरूरत ही नहीं है संगत जी. But get connected with me. Once you have made that connect with me, then we have a complete one-to-one bond. All that is yours is with me, and then you don't have to keep always petitioning me and say things like, help me save my job, help me get rid of my pain, or please rescue me from this mess, or give me a son and may I add, or a daughter. This one-to bond is like complete data transfer between two interlinked systems. Each is in sync with the other. You need this rhythm and synchronicity with Guruji, and Guruji takes care of the rest. You are here in your entirety. You are here with your mind, body, soul, your pains, your pleasures, your pluses, your minuses. When you and me have complete one-to-one correspondence, Your spiritual elevation and liberation from the mundane concerns is my main mission, to connect with you with the supreme power and seek the ultimate self-realization. All of you seek this and that from me. Why don't you ask for the ultimate gift? Seek and you shall get the blessings of His supreme presence. Shukrana, Guruji. Now, before we read the next satsang, I can share these pictures, and once again, Shilpi Aunty can, show it in her chat. So the next satsang is Driving into Faith. Mr. Grewal, a businessman, happened to be at his father-in-law's place at Punjab, at the Agricultural University, when Guruji arrived there with some devotees. It was late at night and everybody had langar. Mr. Grewal had to take Guruji back to the temple at Jalandhar. Guruji and he started out in Maruti 800 and had gone some distance when Mr. Grewal realized that there was very little petrol in the car. He was worried. He was quite sure no petrol pump would be open at this time. It was the early 90s, the heyday of terrorism in the state, and people shut shops quite early. Mr. Grewal also knew that at late night hours, both policemen and terrorists prowled the roads. Sitting next to him, Guruji immediately read his mind and told him not to be afraid. Why are you so worried? Mr. Grewal remembers Guruji telling him, we have enough petrol, just keep driving. Mr. Grewal drove on, but he knew the petrol was going to give out sooner than later. They reached Goraya midway on the Ludhiana-Jalandhar road when Guruji had spoken, when Mr. Grewal felt doubts forcing their way into his mind again. Guruji responded immediately, once again with the reassurance. You are still worried. Keep driving confidently. We have enough petrol. At his words, Mr. Grewal suddenly realized that they had driven 40 kilometers from Ludhiana on an amount of fuel that would not have taken them beyond 4 kilometers. He realized that a divine will was fueling his car, not petrol. Soon they reached the Jalandhar temple without any problems. At the end of the journey, Guruji said, see, I have driven the car without petrol. But be sure to put petrol in the morning. The car will not run without a den. Mr. Grewal says, after this personal experience of the divine force, he surrendered himself to Guruji. He found that Guruji was not an ordinary saint or a pandit. He is far, far above them. He is that Satguru, the true Guru, the Puran Guru. And yes, we all, have our own life-changing, the so-called aha moments when this realization actually dawns upon us that he is not just an ordinary Guru. He is the sole creator of this universe. Now I'm going to resume the other book, Surcharged with Divine Love, and read 2 chapters from this. Okay, so last time we read about Guruji telling Sukhmani Aunty and family that how he had protected her family from the evil clutches of the black magic. And the most beautiful line in this that Guruji said was that once you come under my wing, anyone who's troubling you has to go through me. So this is his protective ring. Guruji gets my sister married. My mother had been praying for years to God to come down and help her daughter get married. She always wanted a son-in-law who didn't drink and was of a religious bent of mind just like her. On meeting my mother for the first time, Guruji told her everything about the ardas that she used to do to Guru Nanak Ji regarding the marriage of her daughter. Get your elder daughter married, Guruji told my mother one day. At first, my mother just said yes and kept quiet. After a few days, he again forcefully told her, Sukhi Aunty, tu roz svere utkar, Rab nu kendi si, meri beti da vyah karan vaste thalle utro. Hun main aaya hoya haan, te tu sundi nahi. Sukhi Aunty, you always prayed to God to come down and get your daughter married. Now I'm here to help and you're not listening? My mother said, Guruji, but I don't know where to find a suitable match for her. That is not your problem, he said. The boy and his family will be coming tonight to the temple. My sister's marriage was fixed with the same boy we saw that day. He told my mother that Atlay, my brother-in-law, was her son in the previous birth and that he will be the best choice for her son-in-law. We never questioned Guruji's decision and my sister's wedding date was fixed. The day he fixed the wedding, he even told my mother that he had blessed her with a grandson. My mother had asked for a dress to be made for Guruji, and day before we were to go pick it up from the boutique, she took out the required money from the cupboard. She realized that a bundle of 50 rupee notes was all that was there in the cupboard that day. As she was about to put that in her bag, she saw that they were the most rotten and torn notes she had ever seen. She was a bit disappointed because having the notes changed from the bank in the next morning meant delay in meeting Guruji. The next day, we told someone to rush to the bank to get the notes changed. Just as my sister handled him, the notes, he asked in confusion. Just as my sister handed him the notes, he asked in confusion, Why do you want these notes changed? My sister told him about the rotten condition of the notes. He flipped through the notes and said, But they are brand new notes. That can't be true, said my sister, and went to examine the notes herself. To her amazement, the notes were brand new. My mother felt there may have been a mistake, as probably there was more than one bundle of notes in the cupboard. We checked the cupboard from top to bottom, but we could not find any more money. Still confused, but in a lot of hurry, we left for Jalandhar to collect Guruji's dress before going to meet Guruji. Guruji's dress and matching shoes were ready, but the dress needed to be dry cleaned before we could present it to Guruji. We decided to give the dress to Guruji on another visit, and we went to his temple for darshans. As we entered, he said, Sukhi Aunty, what? Give me a second, I'm sorry. Sukhi Aunty, what have you got for me? Not wanting to give him the dress in a bad condition, we said, Guruji, we have not got anything. No, you have a dress made for me and matching shoes. Bring them to me. I want to see them. We had no choice but to give him the dress as it was, and Guruji very humbly and lovingly accepted it. For this dress, I had come last night to your house and changed the bundle of money, said Guruji. Guruji, so you changed the money? Asked my sister in surprise. Yes, I had to, or you would have been late. He's so cute. During the preparations of my sister's wedding, Guruji would often help us with shopping. He even told me beforehand as to what I had planned to wear and on what function. My mother wanted to buy a colored kundan tikka, a piece of jewelry worn on the forehead. Matching to the set my sister was to wear on her wedding, we searched for it all over, but none of the jewelers had a tikka in colored kundan, as white kundan was now more in vogue. Sukhi Aunty, is your shopping complete? He asked my mother one day as we visited him. Guruji, I can't find a colored kundan tikka anywhere. I have been to all old jewelers, but none of them have it. What should I do? Mom was very worried as we didn't have enough time to have it made especially to match her set. Go tomorrow to Patiala and you will find one. said Guruji. My mother was not too hopeful since she had already visited all the jewelers there just a day before. The next day, my mother went again to Patiala, and one of the old family jewelers came up to her and said, "We have found a few boxes of tikkas. Let's open and see if there are any colored ones in there." In the first box he opened, we found a colored kundan tikka matching exactly to my sister's set. Everyone in the shop was shocked to notice the similarity between the tikka and the set, as if they were made together by the same craftsman. 3rd February was the date of the wedding, and a week before, the weather took a turn for the worse. The rain seemed as if it would never stop, and we had the arrangements in the open at Mount View, Chandigarh. It was too late to now go looking for covered areas to accommodate everyone. My mother panicked and rushed to meet Guruji. "Guruji, how will I accommodate so many people if the weather remains so bad?" "Don't worry," said Guruji. "It will be warm and sunny day on 3rd. Sure enough, the rain finally stopped on the 2nd, and on 3rd, it was indeed a beautiful, warm, sunny day. On the 3rd, the boys' side was to meet up with Guruji and his Sangat at a particular point before coming together for the wedding. One day, a lady in the Sangat lost her necklace during the trip and was very upset. She didn't want to tell her husband for fear of getting a shout, so she decided to keep quiet till after the wedding. All through the wedding, she was very upset, but she didn't tell anyone. After the wedding, Guruji ordered his Sangat, who came with him from Jalandhar, to follow him back to the temple. When this lady reached the temple, she quietly sat down in one corner, feeling miserable over the loss of her necklace. Guruji walked up to her and threw her necklace in her lap. "Here, Auntie, is this why you have been sulking all through the wedding?" As told by Guruji, much in advance, my sister was soon blessed with a beautiful baby boy. During the first few months of my sister's pregnancy, her test results were not coming normal. One day he asked, "Where are you showing her? Who is the doctor?" When we named the doctor, he immediately said, "Don't go there. There will be a death at her clinic." Guruji instructed us to change the doctor and gave us the address of another lady doctor. As soon as we started going to the new doctor, all my sister's test results came to normal. Guruji would often call her to the temple and bless her. He even said that her pains will start in the temple itself. Sure enough, on February 6th at about 9 p.m., my sister was having langar at the temple when her pain started. Guruji blessed her and we got her admitted to the clinic. My sister was in a bad shape. The mouth of the uterus would not open, so the doctor finally took a call to wait another few hours before doing a cesarean. Since Guruji had told us it would be a normal delivery, my mother and I rushed to him to seek his guidance. He told us that it will be a normal delivery and that there was nothing to worry. Just as we got back to the clinic, we saw the doctor taking my sister to the operation theater. She told us that it is very strange, but the uterus had opened and she is hopeful for a normal delivery. On the 8th of Feb, my nephew was born. Guruji kept his name Rajdeep and told my mother, "Sukhmani Aunty, I have given you a soul by choice. You can make his birth chart if you wish, and you'll be surprised to know what I've given you." One day soon after the delivery, Guruji called me into his room and asked me, "Sukhmani, go ask the lady doctor if she felt anything in the operation theater. She will tell you that she feels a presence in the theater each time she does a case." He said, "Ask her if she joins her hands and prays to God before doing deliveries, and tell her I have been watching over her for the past many years. Doctors being doctors, I wasn't very hopeful. I'm getting a reaction from her. As soon as I asked her about the feeling of a presence in the operation theater, I could see tears in her eyes. She told me that she always prayed to God to help her and each time found 2 extra set of hands working with her on a case. She was shocked to know that I already knew of this because not even her family was aware of this fact. My job was done. The lady doctor became a follower of Guruji soon after. I must mention here, in the previous nursing home, where we were forbidden from taking my sister. There was a delivery case on the same date as my sister's. The baby died, and the mother was so critical that she had to be rushed to PGI hospital. This is when I understood why the nursing home had been changed and why Guruji had said there will be a death there. 4 years later, Guruji again blessed my sister with a daughter. Each time the parents would go to Guruji to ask him for a name, he would say, "I'll keep it after thinking about it." This went on for about 2 months, and one fine day, Guruji called up my sister late night and said, "You are to name your daughter Pearl. Don't call her anything but Pearl. Even diamonds have imperfections, but a pearl is pure." I thank Guruji for giving us these children, as they have brought a tremendous amount of happiness into our lives. One more chapter and then we will take a break. Guruji blesses our room. One day the temple curtains got changed. The old ones were washed and ironed and kept aside. Just as we walked in, Guruji told one of the caretakers to put all the old curtains in our car, saying the curtains in Litlu's rooms must be changed. The one near the dressing table is torn. My sister was always called Litlu by Guruji. He never used her real name. As much as we tried to recall, we could not remember any curtain to be torn or damaged in the room. He further added, "All three of you must sleep in the room with new curtains." By all three, he meant my mother, sister, and me. We never understood why Guruji wanted us to sleep in one room, but we had learned over these few years, never to question him. When at night we reached home, the first thing we did was to check for a tear in our old curtains. Sure enough, as mentioned by Guruji, the curtain next to the dressing table had a slit. Since it was never fully drawn, we never noticed it. Guruji had never been to our house physically, but he seemed to know more about it than we did ourselves. We put up the curtains that very night and made arrangements to sleep together. Hardly 3 days had passed since we put up the curtains, and we all started noticing that they were getting unnaturally black and soiled. Everything they touched, windowsills, doors, started to turn black. We took them down, washed them, and put them up again. Hardly a few days would pass, and the same thing started to happen again and again. The curtains were a light gray and pale pink spray of flowers, but by the end of the week, one could hardly see the pattern since they used to become so dirty. After having washed them a couple of times, we finally decided to ask Guruji about this strange phenomenon. "Guruji, why are the curtains turning black?" My mother finally took the courage to ask him. "I am curing the negative influences of planets on all three of you. Since my temple curtains are charged with my energy, they are taking all the effect onto themselves." "Very, very deep," said Guruji. "Keep sleeping in the same room." We did as we were told, and for a year, the curtains kept getting black, until one day we realized that they weren't getting as black as they used to. Okay, so I am gonna interject to share something, my own personal experience. So, for my marriage and also for my sister's marriage, under Bambi Auntie's guidance, we had gotten, 2 separate cholas stitched for Guruji, and it was beautiful because the joy of being able to bring something to Guruji was more on us. So, उनको खूबसूरत चोला प्रेजेंट करना, बड़े प्यार से गुरुजी ने अपने कमरे में बुलाया, अपने हाथों से हम सबको अलग से लंगर खिलाया. So, it was very, very special. Now, talking of energy, since we're on that passage, and the line is that since my temple's curtains are charged with my energy, they are taking the effect onto themselves. Sangaji, I have seen that happen to the Jukti Prasad that I have received from Guru Sahib on my birthday. maybe 20 years ago, 21 years ago, I don't even remember. But he was wearing these maroon juttis. He took it off and gave it to me, and he said, "El hai chak tera prasad." And those juttis, because they were worn by him and had his energy, those juttis have taken the kasht, all the obstacles, the difficulties that had to come. And I'm not saying that life has been a bed of roses. Life has been filled with ups and downs and twists and turns and challenges galore. But throughout those challenges, I've always felt supported. And the beauty is that every time I've overcome a challenge or faced one, my faith has gotten stronger. So to me personally, that is the biggest wealth, the wealth of faith. And it's not कि मैं वो जुत्तीस पहनकर डांस करती हूँ, वो जुत्तीस को बहुत अदब से मैंने लपेट के रखा है. But अगर आप उन जुत्तीस को देखो संगत जी, तो उनके ऊपर tears हैं from on the sides, the front, the back, as if those juttis have absorbed all the kasht that was supposed to come upon me. We did as we were told, and for over a year the curtains kept getting black until one day we realized they weren't getting as black as they used to. Anyone who walked into a room would feel a change in vibrations. We had pictures of Guruji on every wall. I noticed many people loved to come and sit there and felt peaceful, while there were many others who could not step in and felt restless. Over the years, we have witnessed many of Guruji's blessings in this room. And yes, Guruji ke Swaroop mein, Guruji had said that talking to my Swaroop is like talking to me. Itni shakti hoti hai. And this space here, this room here is like that safe space for me where I, whenever I'm the most troubled or uneasy, I come down and I just sit and talk to Guruji and I start feeling better. So again, it all points to his presence and his energy. And with his grace, you start to feel this change in vibrations. My mother and I went to a temple and saw beautiful idols of Lord Shiva made in clay. We could not resist buying one each. On coming back home, we placed these in our respective praying areas in the room. We would sit and say our prayers in front of the idols and would meditate on them. Soon we realized that the idols would become lifelike each time we concentrated on them. The eyes would open and shut, the skin on the face would twitch, and the chest would seem to rise and fall as if the idol was breathing. For many days, my mother and I saw the same things in our respective idols, but we kept it to ourselves and dared not to tell each other. We would put it down to imagination or something or the other, but refused to believe what we were seeing. Many days passed before my mother finally asked me if I could see anything strange in my idol. We were amazed to find out that we were both seeing the same things. Finding it very strange, we decided to ask Guruji about it in our next trip. Guruji, the Shiva idols in our rooms seem to come alive and breathe each time we pray to them. Is it our imagination? Asked Mom. These are blessings. Don't stop here. You must go beyond this. Go back and do away with the idols. Leave them in some temple, said Guruji. On another occasion, one of Guruji's pictures in our room started to suddenly glow at night. It caught our attention as we looked at it. We were given the divine darshans of all the 10 Sikh gurus. One by one, they kept coming on the picture like a TV screen. My mother and I thought we may be imagining all this, so we called my grandfather into the room and just casually asked him if he could see anything. To our surprise, he saw the exact same thing. The next day, someone in Guruji's Sangat called saying, "We were sitting with Guruji last night and Guruji mentioned that your entire family has been given the divine darshan of all 10 Sikh gurus. Is that true?" Before we could say anything, he further added, "Guruji has given us instructions to come see the room where you were given the darshans." This confirmed what we had seen the night before. On my first visit to Chhatarpur temple at Bhati Mines, known as the Bada Mandir by his Sangat, I had clicked a photograph of the Shiva idol on the fountain. This photograph was one amongst the many I had put up in my room. One day, my mother and I were generally talking about the world being a man's world and that Lord Shiva is partial towards men. We need to protest and appeal to Parvati Ji, the consort of Lord Shiva. Maybe she will have a soft heart for women and their endless problems. I had barely mentioned those words when the photograph of Lord Shiva seemed to smile. His image blurred, and in his place my mother and I saw the image of a lady. We presumed it to be Parvati Ji, as she was in a sari and wore ornaments. We were shocked at what we had just seen, and since we were seeing a lot of things that were strange, we decided to keep quiet about it till Guruji confirmed what we saw. Within a few days, we managed to take a trip to Guruji. He was in his room, and when he entered the temple, and as we sat down, Guruji's caretaker came to us saying we were wanted inside. Just as my mother opened the door of his room, Guruji laughed and said, "So, did Parvati Ji finally give you the darshan that day?" We put our heads down and were ashamed of our foolish conversation that day. Guruji laughed and hugged us both. Such priceless moments with Guru Sahib. आज के लिए इतना ही संगत जी, and hopefully we will come back with a live session soon. I miss being able to engage with the readers, and मुझसे कोई भूल चूक हो गई हो तो संगत जी मैं क्षमा प्रार्थी हूँ. I know the reading was a little rushed and I do feel a little exhausted as well, but nonetheless, thank you for the seva, thank you for this opportunity. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivji Sada Sahai. Om Namah Shivaya, Guruji Sada Sahai. Love you, Guruji. Shukrana, Guru Maharaj.